Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Sree and today is August 8th, 2021, and welcome to iBUG Today's iBuzz Cafe. And this Buzz Cafe will be recorded, so we kindly ask that everyone stay muted. And what we're going to do is first, I'm going to go over some housekeeping rules, and then we will open it up to introduction. So the housekeeping rules, like I said, we need to keep a good recording, so I kindly ask that everyone stay muted. This cafe is being recorded on our podcast as well as our YouTube channel. So the way we mute our devices, if you're using an iPhone, you can do a 4-finger single tap on the bottom and flick left till you hear the mute button, or you can do a touch and explore to the bottom left. If you're using an iPad, you can do a 4-finger single tap on top of the screen and flick right. Or you can do a touch and explore in the middle of the screen on the top. You're going to do a 1-finger double tap. It toggles the mute and unmute. If you're using a Mac, it's Shift Command A. And if you are using a Windows PC, it's Alt A. And you can also use the space bar to push and talk. So if you want to speak, just hold down the space bar. And when you're finished, you can release it and you'll go back on mute. And if you are using a landline phone, you're going to be using *6. And we are going to leave all the Q&A after both presentations are done. And at that time, when we open up for Q&A, the way it will work is we ask that everyone mute. And when you have a question, you state your name, unmute and state your name. Myself or Sandhya will call your name, and then you can ask your questions. And we also kindly ask that everyone stay quiet till the question is answered, so we're not interrupting anyone. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for introduction. And what I like for everyone to do is state your name, let us know where you are calling from, as well as if this is your first time calling the iBuzz Cafe, please let us know how you heard about us. And today's icebreaker question I want to bring up is, what tool or app do you use to label things? And if you don't use any tools, just let us know that you're not using any tools. So that's the icebreaker question. So I'm going to kindly ask Sandhya if she can just unmute everyone so that we can go around and let's go and introduce ourselves.
Mark in Montreal, and
Hey,
I
Mark.
don't use any labeling tools. And I've been an old veteran on iBUG events, including some of the cafes for a while.
This is Herbie in Houston, and believe it or not, the way I label things, if I do, I use an old-fashioned Braille labeler.
Excellent, Herbie. All right, next.
This is Ted, and Joanne.
Go ahead, Ted.
This is Ted and Joanne in Houston, and I don't use anything to label.
Okay.
This is
Terry
Sailor.
from
This is Sailor.
Terry
I'm outside Houston in the woodlands. Sometimes I use Braille to label stuff, and other times I'll use the Envision glasses when I want to read text, and also the Envision app on my phone, and even Ira.
Okay. Next.
Terry from Houston. When I do label, I usually would do it in Braille.
Okay.
This is Chanel in Houston, and I also use a Braille labeler. I might use rubber bands to denote one thing, a similar bottle from another, and I will use apps to try to identify things like SuperSense or Seeing AI.
Excellent. Welcome. All right, who's next?
This is Linda Mitchell from Georgia, near Atlanta in Conyers, Georgia. And I do not really use any labeling apps. I'm here to learn.
Excellent. Welcome. All right, who's next?
This is Dan from Southern California, and I use the Way Around app.
Excellent. All right. Who's next?
This is Ned from Kyle, Texas, and I do not use anything to label.
Okay.
This is Terry from Arlington Heights, Illinois, and I have all kinds of labeling devices. I use them, some of them sometimes, some of them I haven't used in a while.
Okay.
This is Roy from Fort Worth. Believe it or not, I still use a pen friend.
Excellent. Welcome, Roy.
This is Keith
Dee.
in Austin. Go ahead, Dee.
Oh, you go ahead. You got more said than I did.
This is Keith in
so-
Austin, and I do not label.
Okay. Welcome, Keith.
Okay, this is Dee in Southern Illinois, and I use a Braille labeler. And I'd like to say, I think it was Roy who just said an old-fashioned pen friend. Hey, I love the old-fashioned pen friend. I use it all the time
All right.
for canned goods and, you know, food items and stuff like that.
Excellent.
This is Carol in San Antonio, and I use Braille, and I also have an ID Mate Galaxy where you can apply your own barcodes to different items.
All right. That's interesting. Thank you.
This is Marty in Bensalem, PA. And I've used the pen friend. I've labeled about 600 CDs with Dymo tape. So I've done it all. Now I don't use a labeler.
Okay.
This is Sandhya.
Hey, Sandhya.
I use Braille, just like I make my own Braille labels.
Okay.
Pretty low tech. All right.
This
Anyone
is
else?
Liz. I use Braille, honestly, everything. Braille and way around tags. I have an old school pen friend as well. And I kind of use combinations of labeling.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, this is Tara. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I don't use any labelers other than depending on seeing AI, sometimes rubber bands. So I'd love to learn about
Okay.
other more things that are there.
All right. Welcome. Anyone else? All right. Michael, are you using any tool?
Yeah, this is Michael in Houston. I use all the high-tech stuff like Tara. I use rubber bands and bump dots and little pieces of sticky tape.
This is Nava from Northern California. I mostly use buttons, label buttons.
Okay. All right. And this is Sree. I'm from Springfield, Virginia. And believe it or not, I use the assistance of my wife to tell me what these things are. So after this, I think she's going to say, you found a different way to label things. So
this is David from Houston. I'm sorry.
Yeah, David. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Introduce.
Yeah. I guess the only thing I can think of when brought up was those like the locator dots or little puff dots that you can stick on things.
Yeah.
I use some of those. And the rubber band trick is also pretty handy for bottles that are similar, like shampoo and conditioner or something like that.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tom Williams in Durham, North Carolina. This is my first time on the cafe, and I use a variety of labeling tools depending on what I'm labeling.
Excellent. Welcome. Anyone else? All right. Well, if not, on behalf of everybody here at iBUG today, welcome to the cafe. And before we start, I'm going to have Sandhya announce our wonderful events that are occurring this week. So Sandhya, let us know what's going on.
All right. So upcoming events for iBUG. Thank you, Sree. So for starting this week, tomorrow evening from 7:30 to 9:30, we'll be having the iBUG Buzz. Everything that takes place on Zoom will be on this same Zoom conference line. So if you are here, you are all set to go. So we will be talking about all things related to the iPhone, and if questions and answers, then it's a great time to ask your question or help answer other people's questions. We talk about peripherals. We talk about anything but the Mac. And so we would love for you to come to that. And then on Friday, we see where our mind is, right? So Tuesday we have the mini buzz on Clubhouse. And there we'll be doing a mini version of what we did on Monday night, but all things related to the iPhone from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. All times that I'm mentioning are Central Time. Then on Thursday, we have iBUG Vila Book Club, and we will be discussing the book called The Hot Zone by Richard Preston, and it is DB 40,695. It's available on Bard. It's about 10 hours and 20 minutes. So if you start now and start reading fast, you'll be ready to go. And even if you haven't read the book, we still welcome you. Might like to hear the discussion. I wouldn't read it at night. I made that mistake last night and couldn't sleep because it is pretty riveting. So just check it out. It's all about the outbreak of Ebola. It's a true story, so check it out. And then Friday night is iBUG night at the virtual movies. So 8 o'clock we start the movie. It's audio described track only. And then at 7:30 we have a social time. We have jokes. We have some name that tune kind of quizzes. And then after the movie, we will have a discussion and some trivia about the movie. The movie is announced. If you can't wait for the reveal of the movie, that can come on Monday night. If you come at the 8:30 midpoint, we have the halftime show, and our lovely iBUG guy will give his very amorphous clues, and we will figure out what movie is going to be there. And then otherwise, he will announce it by email later on in the week. So if you want to get announcements about all of our events, register at ibugtoday.org, ibugtoday.org. There you can register, there you can go to the upcoming tab, and you'll find out about all the events. This is all I told you about was just what's coming this week. We also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/group/iBUG today. There you can pose your questions between these various training sessions, and then you'll also get information. People have announcements about, new apps or new developments or issues they're having. So come and post your question or help answer questions there as well. Then we have a Twitter account, is at iBUG today. Harvey Allen, our Twitter master, is diligently tweeting out all kinds of good stuff about the Apple world and accessibility and where those two worlds intersect, shall we say. And then we have a Jumpstart mentoring program. If you need help with your iPhone, we provide a 12-week free program. Everything we do is free, by the way. We are a nonprofit, so if you would like to get some help with your iPhone, you can register on our website under the Mentee application, and then we will match you up with our wonderful volunteers all over the country. And if you are knowledgeable with your iPhone and would like to help someone, we would welcome your help as well. So I hope I haven't missed anything, and we are just super glad everybody is here today and looking forward to this demo. All right, Sree, I'm handing it over back to you, sir. And I muted, everybody is muted, so you may have to unmute. And we're not hearing you, Sree.
All right.
There you are. Okay.
All right. Well, welcome again. Thank you, Sandhya. And definitely everyone check out our website. There's lots of things going on. So first, I want to introduce our presenter, Liz Weisgarver. She currently works at the National Federation of the Blind of Texas. She is the NFB Newsline coordinator for Texas. And Liz, I welcome you and thank you. And please let us know what app you're going to be talking about today.
Sure. Well, thank you. I am going to be demonstrating the Way Around app. And in the recording, I tell a little bit about the system itself with the different tags and show you a couple of different examples of things that I've labeled. And then I also demonstrate how you can read a label with your phone and create one from scratch. This is a really nice app. I've been switching a lot of my labeling over to Way Around because it's really affordable and easy to use, and it's available on my smartphone. So unlike something like a pen friend, you don't have to carry around a separate device. So this demonstration really came about because I'm into paper crafting, which you have lots of little small oh my goodness, just all sorts of tools and papers and things that you need to keep organized, especially as a blind person. And Sandhya has gotten into crafting a little bit, and she asked me like, hey, how do you label these things? Like, how could I write out what all of the stamps say? And so I suggested, well, you might try the way around tags, and you could combine that with Braille or whatever other labeling system you like. But then it lets you put a lot more information on the object that wouldn't be able to fit physically in Braille. So I have found them really useful. And another cool thing that I want to point out, this system and the app was created by 2 blind seniors. And I think I forgot to mention this in the demonstration, but they're actually out of Texas. So I believe Plano, Texas is where they're located. So pretty nice to be able to support a group that is here in Texas that's actual blind people solving problems. So I will stick around to answer questions, but I hope you enjoy the demonstration and that gives you a better idea of how to use the way around tags.
Okay, I'm getting ready to start the recording. If you don't hear anything in about 5 seconds, Sree, then let me know, please.
Will do.
Hi everybody, my name is Liz Weisgarver, and today I'm going to be talking about the Way Around app that you can use for labeling. So the app is called Way Around, and it's capital W-A-Y, capital A-R-O-U-N-D, all one word. And it's a really nice labeling app that'll be familiar to anybody who's used Digitize or even the PenFriend labeling system. And I really like it better even than the PenFriend that I've had for several years and have been switching over to using Way Around. So Way Around is actually pretty cool because it was created by 2 blind seniors who were architects before they retired. And so it's a good example of how blind people can solve our own problems and create products that we need. They originally started it as a way for public spaces like offices and museums to label different areas and exhibits. And so the idea is that you would be able to walk up to something with a Way Around tag on it, scan it with your phone, and be able to know what that sign says or what that museum exhibit is. And it still has that capability. It's got a service called Way Around for Public Spaces that businesses can pay for to be able to put up those labels in their space. But for users, the iPhone and Android app is totally free, and you can sign up and make a free account, and you don't have to pay for that part of it. It does use what are called Way tags, and those you will need to purchase. But the app itself is totally free and free to make your account on it. So the tags are pretty versatile and come in a variety of different shapes and materials. There are sticker tags, clip tags, button tags, and magnet tags. And they're about the size of a quarter or postage stamp. And they're tactile. So once you put them onto an item, you'll be able to feel right where they are. They use near field communication, NFC, which is really nice because that means it's not like a QR code where you have to line your camera up with the actual sticker. All you have to do is tap your phone on near the sticker, just somewhere near it where it's touching, and it picks it up in that NFC technology. And I actually found out that NFC is the same type of technology for Apple Pay or Android Pay. So if you've used that before, then it's similar. The iPhone 7s and up have an NFC reader built in, and most Android phones have that as well, but it does vary just depending on the model and year. The iPad does not have an NFC reader available in it, but you can download the Way Around iPhone app on the iPad if you want to. If you don't have a device with an NFC scanner built in, Way Around actually has a freestanding device that you can use to scan the tags, and it's called the WayLink Scanner. it pairs to your device with Bluetooth, and then you're able to scan those NFC way tags and use them. So what can you use the way tags on? You can really use them on just about anything you can think of. Food items, and in fact, I believe they have a whole kitchen kit that they've put together that you can purchase with some of the tags that they recommend, and rubber bands and little straps and things of that sort. The clips are good for that because you can put a clip onto a box, like a cereal box. You can put a sticker on a reusable container, and you can put the magnets on canned items and then be able to move them around. Or you could even stick a magnet on your refrigerator. I put one of the magnets on my Instant Pot with some common cook times on it. You can even put the oval button tag on a rubber band and put that around frozen food because they're able to withstand temperature and water. You can identify medications, of course, really easily. Laundry using the oval buttons, or they have another kind of button that you can actually sew it into it. It's got like the little holes for the needle and thread to go through. And even things like credit cards. You could put one of the stickers directly onto your credit card and type in your credit card information, maybe the bank phone number, whatever info you need. Or some people have gotten sleeves for the credit cards and put the sticker onto the credit card sleeve and then just put that into their wallet so you can access that information anywhere that you're at. Some other cool stuff I've seen people do is someone used the way around tags that are the clips to label plants in their garden, and they would tell what kind of plant it was when it was planted, and they even had other information like what kind of fertilizer to use and when to water it. It's great for crafting supplies. I do paper crafting and I use it pretty regularly to label like spools of ribbon and papers and stamp sets. If you do, yarn work, it'd be really good for yarn and different gauges of needles. Pretty much anything you can think of, really. All you need to remember with the tags is to use the square tags on metal. So there's square magnetic tags and there are square sticker tags. If you put one of the round sticker tags onto a metal item, it won't work because the metal interferes with the NFC field. So just remember to put the square ones onto metal. Other types of NFC tags won't work with the Way Around app, so you'll want to purchase their actual Way tags. These pair really well with your existing Braille or tactile labeling systems. For example, one of the tags I'm going to show you is for my washing machine, and I used tactile dots to mark some of the common settings that I use on the washer with very shorthand Braille labels. And there's just physically not enough space for me to fit all of the Braille labels onto the washing machine dial. And so what I did was I got a magnetic Way tag and typed out all of the washer make and model information and the other settings on that Way tag. So if I want to use something that I don't frequently use, I could just swipe my phone over that magnet and be able to read those other settings that I don't have Braille labeled. So you can really pair it with any of your existing types of labeling systems just to be able to add additional information. You can write up to 2,000 characters on the Way tags, which is quite a bit of information. And another neat feature is, since it's on your smartphone, you can do things like put a hyperlink or a phone number into the text box and save that tag. And then when you bring it up, you can tap right on the link or the phone number and go to that web page or make a call. So that's pretty nifty to be able to interact with the text in that way. You can purchase the Way tags online at their website, which is wayaround.com. And again, that's wayaround.com, or some other vendors. I'm actually not certain which vendors. You might check Maxi Aids or something of the sort, but I've just purchased directly through Way Around's store. And the tags come in multi-packs, so you could get like a sample pack. They have one set that literally has one of each of the different tags, so you could test it out, see what you think. Then they have some other sets that I got one as a gift that had several of each of the types of tags. And then if you find one that you use a whole lot, you can buy packs of 25 of that particular tag. They equal out to about $1 a tag, and you can rewrite over the tags as many times as you want. So if you have, a clothing tag and then you end up getting rid of that piece of clothing, you can take the button tag off of it and just rewrite it for another item and be able to use it. Oh, thanks, Apple Card. I put it on Do Not Disturb and I don't think it really does much. So, but anyway, another thing that I like better about the way around tags is you don't have to purchase particular packages of them in a certain order. So with the Pen Friend, you have to purchase the next consecutive package, otherwise it will rewrite over your old tags. You don't have that problem with the way around tags. They are unique with each code. So that's pretty nice. When you first download the app, it will prompt you to create an account. You can go ahead and create an account from the app itself with your email and password. And the reason it asks you to create an account is because it actually saves your tags in the cloud to keep them private and backed up. So if you were to switch phones, all you'd have to do is log in to your way around account and all of your tags would still be saved. And that also means if you have more than one device, or if you have, several folks in your house that maybe want to benefit from the things that you've already labeled, you can log all those devices onto the same way around account and be able to access the labels. It also lets you then use that account for the website if you want to then go ahead and purchase tags. All right, so now I am going to demonstrate the app. I'm using VoiceOver on an iPhone XS, and I've got a Bluetooth speaker. I'm going to get turned on so we can hear it a bit better.
Heading level 1. Swipe right to hear additional items on this screen.
There it comes. All right, so I am already logged in, so it's not going to ask me to log in. I'm going to start at the very top and then just flick with one finger to the right to show the different items on the screen. There's not very many, and it has a lot of tooltips going on, which you can, of course, toggle off your tooltips with VoiceOver settings, but mine are currently on. Okay.
Heading level 1. Way cloud connected. Image. A white background with nothing else on it.
So it's
Your
telling-
information is being backed up to Way Cloud.
Yep. So I am connected to my account.
Settings. Button. Scanner ready. Press the read button below. Then hold the top part of your phone on the way tag until you feel a double click. Read. Button. Create. Button.
Okay.
Double tap to create.
So the read button at the bottom left and the create button at the bottom right are the main things that you will be using. So I am going to read a tag that I've already created that I mentioned a little bit earlier. It's a magnet tag that I put onto my washing machine that has a lot more of the information on it. So I'm going to tap at the bottom left
button
for read. Okay, gonna
double tap. Alert. Ready to scan. Ready to scan. Hold near NFC tag to scan.
All right, so I'm just going to press the top of the phone to the tag. And it gave me a nice haptic feedback there.
Dial way around.
Okay, so it's showing it on the screen. I'm going to swipe over to it to read.
Dials and options move from left to right and clockwise. Scanner ready. Press the read. Dials and options move from left to right and clockwise. Audio ducking, punctuation, brailles, heading, links, visit button, text, audio, edit, characters, word, lines.
There we go.
Dials and options move from left to right and clockwise. New line. New line. GE 4.6Q. FT, white on white / silver.
So that's the make and model.
Model, GTW 500 ASNWS. Purchased, June 1st, 2021. New line. Top left button, deep fill. New line. Top right button. Start/pause. New line. Soil level dial. Extra light. Light.
All right, so you get the idea. When I went to the router and put it into read by lines. So there's even more than that on there because 2,000 characters is a pretty good amount of information. All right, so that is one that I've already created, and I want to show you guys how to make a new one from scratch. So I have one of the oval hole buttons. This one is ideal for clothing, especially if you're like me and you're not good at sewing, because you can actually put a safety pin through the oval hole in this button and just clip it to the tag in your garment. So I'm going to create one for a dress that I purchased recently as an example. All right, so I'm going to go touch to the bottom of the screen and find create.
Create button.
Okay, I'm going to double tap.
Create weight tag. Heading level 1.
All right, so it brings up all the
Swipe right to
information.
hear additional items on this screen. Weight cloud connected. Image description. Heading level 2. Enter the text you want written to the weight tag.
So those are
Multi-line text field.
text box.
Detail type. Select. Pop-up button.
So
After
mostly,
activating,
I typically just use it with just the description, where it just has that one big text box. But for this one, I'm going to show you some of the different options you can do. They actually have it where you can pick what kind of thing it is that you're labeling, and then it'll give you some other cool options that you can fill in. So I'll show you some of those on the little peeker here.
button.
Okay, so I'm going to tap
Detail type.
on the detail
Select.
type.
Pop-up. Detail type. Select. Pop-up button.
So I brought up the pop-up.
Select. Picker item. Adjustable.
So I'm going to swipe
1 of
up.
11. Appointment. 1 of 11. Artwork. 1 of business card. 1 cleaning supply. Clothing care. 4 custom. 4 of file. 7 of grocery item. 7 personal care product. Retail product. 7 of retail product.
All right, so I'm going to pick clothing.
Personal grocery file. Custom. Clothing care.
There we go.
10 of 11. Toolbar. Done. Button.
Hit done.
Done. Clothing care. Detail type. Clothing care. Pop-up button.
All right, so now I'm going to go back
After
through,
activating the
and I'll show you some of the other options that it added.
way around. Back. Create way tag. Way cloud connected. Description. Heading level 2.
So we have our big text box.
Enter the text you want written to the way tag. Detail type. Clothing care. Pop-up button. Clothing care. Heading level 2.
Now it has these options.
Sorting. Select. Pop-up button. Washing. Select. Pop-up button. Drying. Select. Pop-up button. Other. Select. Pop-up button. Purchase date. Pop-up button. Clean date. Pop-up button. Other date. Pop-up button. Add a custom detail. Button. Right. Button.
And then the right button is what you'll press when you have completed it, and then it will prompt you to put the tag to it. So I'm going to switch on I've got a Bluetooth Logitech keyboard to make this a little bit faster for myself. Let's see if we've got it paired.
Add a custom detail. Button.
Oh, it's not pairing. That's
Double tap to add a detail.
convenient.
Other date. Pop-up button. Double tap to activate the picker.
All right, I'm going to turn it back on and see if it'll pair.
Add a other date.
There we go.
Pop-up button.
All right. So now I'm using
Double
my
tap
keyboard.
to activate the picker. Clean date. Drying. Way around. Create. Way cloud connected. Description. Heading. Enter the text you want written to the insertion point at end.
All right, so I'm in my description. So I'm going to say
space. Black. Space. Tropical. Space. Floral. Space. Maxi. D-E-S. New line. Dress. Space. R-S. Space. And. E.
Okay. So there's my description.
Description.
Let it read.
Head. Multi-line text field. Is editing. Black tropical floral maxi dress. Black background with flowers in pink and blue. Line mode. Insertion point at end.
There we go. So there's a bit of a description.
Use the rotor to detail type. Clothing care. Pop clothing care. Heading level 2. Sorting. Select. Pop-up button. Sorting. Select. Pop-up button. Select. Picker up whites. 1 of 6 lights. 1 of 6 darks. 1 of 6 delicates. 1 of 6 dry clean delicates.
It's a delicate, so we're going to select that one.
Delicates. Pick toolbar. Done. Delicates. Toolbar. Done. Sorting. Detail type. Clothing. Sort. Washing. Select.
Washing.
Pop-up washing. Select. Pop-up button. Dry clean only. 1 of not dry clean. No trichloroethylene. 1. Do not wash. 3 of 9. Hand wash. 3 of 9. Machine wash cold. 3 of machine wash. Gentle or delicate. 3 of 9. Toolbar. Done. But washing. Machine wash. Drying. So other. Select. Pop-up drying. Select drying. Select. Lay flat to dry. 1 line dry. 1 of 7. Tumble dry. Gentle. 3 of 7.
There we go. Tumble gentle.
Toolbar. Done. But drying. Tumble dry. Gentle. Pop other. Select. Pop-up button. Purchase date. Pop-up button. Clean date. Pop-up other date.
We're going to go ahead and write this tag.
Add a custom detail. Right. Button.
Okay, so I'm going to hit right.
Double tap to success. Way tag successfully.
It already got it because it was close to
way
it.
around.
So now I can actually hit read.
Button. Edit. Button.
Oh, yes, and you can edit it.
Double tap to edit the...
since that was the last thing that we worked with, it's actually showing it right there. I can hit edit, and then it will save that to the cloud. So here is how it's going to be displayed. I'm just going to go to the top again and go over to kind of the middle of the phone where it is showing it.
Round. Heading level 1. Way cloud connected. Settings. Button. Black tropical floral maxi dress. Black background with flowers in pink and blue. Sorting. Washing. Machine wash. Gentle or delicate. Drying. Tumble dry. Gentle. List end.
All right, and so that can be really helpful, especially for kind of fancier things like this dress that I labeled, where you know exactly how to take care of it. It's a good idea to put in the purchase date if you know it, because then you can see maybe if it's gotten a bit older. You can also write even more. Like I could have written that goes well with white strappy sandals or seashell earrings or whatever other information that you might want to add to it. I'm going to go into settings just briefly to show you what's in there. So up toward the top.
Round. Heading left. Way cloud connected. Settings. Button.
And I'm just going to swipe through it.
Heading level 1. Way cloud connected. Image. Options. Heading level 2. Use way link. Checkbox. Unchecked.
The way
Double
link.
tap to top.
The way link is that external tag reader that we mentioned earlier.
Use way link. Check your account. Heading level 2. Email address. listengraves@yahoo.com. Log out. Button. Resources. Heading level 2. Packaging labels. Scan the packaging labels. Scan the way tag on the top left corner of the label on way around packaging for additional information. Community forums. Post your questions and share ideas. Link. Help Center. Find answers to common questions and a getting started guide. Link. Way Around YouTube channel. Learn about Way Around and how people are using it to transform their lives. Link. Way Around 3, 2, 1. Build 13.3.2.1.2. Shop online for Way tags and other Way Around products. The Way Around Shop button.
So it'll take you directly
Double tap to go
to the store.
The Way Around Shop.
And that's our
button.
last option. So that is what the app looks like. It's super duper easy to use. I would say really pretty accessible. You don't need to know a lot of gestures. I would recommend getting a keyboard if you are able to. It can make it a lot easier because then you can just type directly into it instead of only dictating and then having to go back and edit that or trying to type by hand. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it, especially the way that it is cloud synced. And, you know, unlike the Pen Friend, I don't have to have another device. I just carry my phone around with me all the time anyway, and now I can use it to read different types of labels that I might have throughout the house. So I hope this demonstration has been helpful and gave you a better idea about the Way Around app. So thank you.
All right. Well, Liz, thank you very much. Liz, did you want to make any final comments about your presentation? If not, I can start mine.
No, I'll stick around for questions if you guys have any, but you know, again, it's just really easy to use. We've actually sent the way tags out for our seniors during our Silver Bells senior training programs. You know, so just to say that it's pretty simple to use at just about any tech level. You don't have to be a master of your smartphone to be able to benefit from them.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Definitely learned something about this app, so this is good, and hopefully everyone learned something new about it also. So the app that I'm going to talk about is called NaviLens, and that is spelled N as in Nancy, A as in Apple, V as in Victor, I as in Indigo, L as in Larry, E as in Elephant, N as in Nancy, S as in Sam. This is basically a smart label app. The good thing about this app is it's going to tell us not only what the item is, but it's going to tell us how far it is. It's going to tell us which direction it's located. So it doesn't, you know, just besides just a simple label app, it gives us some directional information. So I've broken these presentation into 6 different sections. The first section is going to just talk about you know, what and who NaviLens is. I'm going to tell you how to install the app and look at the settings in your iPhone as well as the app. So that'll be the first section we're going to cover. So Michael, you want to go ahead and play the first section? Have you ever picked up an item and you're not sure what it is? It has no label, there's no barcode for you to identify it. Or even if you put an item somewhere and now you're not sure where you put it, what do you typically do? Do you contact a family member or a friend, or even contact Be My Ice or Ira to tell you what it is or where that item is? How about if I give you another solution? That solution could be NaviLens. What is NaviLens? NaviLens has been around for over 5 years, and the company is founded in Spain. It is a smart digital marker, and the basic explanation for this is it's a label maker. It reads 33 different languages and has a response time less than half a second when the marker is identified. Now you can also share this tag with 5 family members or even 5 individuals. And what do you need to set this up? Well, you need 3 things. First, you need a smartphone that runs either iOS or Android. Second, you need a color printer to print this personal markers. And finally, you need to download the app either from the App Store or the Play Store. And please keep in mind, this app is absolutely free. These markers come in 3 different sizes. They come in either large, medium, or small. And I'll go in more depth later on explaining the different sizes of these tags. Now you do get a unique click sound when NaviLens identifies a marker. And here's a quick example of what it sounds like.
10.27 feet away, straight, Sree's office.
In that example, you can clearly hear the sound as well as verbal information as it indicated how far the marker was in relation to where I was. You can also shake the phone if you like NaviLens to reread that label, but make sure when you do shake your phone, you do not point that camera towards the marker, otherwise NaviLens will continue to read that marker. If there are multiple markers, NaviLens will let you know how many different markers that it has identified. These markers, they can be placed anywhere, either on the wall, on the floor, or even on the item that you want to label. Now in my example, I put an 8-inch marker in front of my door, and I was able to read that marker when I was 60 feet away from it. And when I enabled the zoom option, I was able to read that marker 90 feet away. Also, these markers can also be viewed up to 160-degree angle. And you can always customize these markers, and you can also relabel it as needed. Now I want to talk about 2 tabs in the app. The first tab, which I mentioned a little bit before, is about the zoom option. Keep in mind, when you enable zoom, you also decrease the angle viewing of it. And the other one is the filter options. You can type a keyword on a tag and search for it, and NaviLens will bypass other tags, and it will only look for tags that has that filter name in it. Now that I mentioned about what NaviLens is, I also want to let you know NaviLens does work with both commercial use and personal use. But for today's cafe, I'm only focusing on personal use. And if you're really interested to learn more about the commercial use, definitely check out their website as well as the information on the app. And there are some good YouTube videos that you can search for where NaviLens explains how it is used in the commercial world. Hopefully that gives you a good understanding of what NaviLens is. Now we're going to look at how to install the app, and it's a pretty straightforward process. I'm going to go ahead and ask Siri to find NaviLens on the App Store. Find NaviLens on the App Store.
Okay, searching for Navi Lens on the App Store.
App Store, NaviLens, Utilities, 5 stars, 7 ratings, button.
Okay, that's the app that I want. I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Re-download, button.
All right, I've got the re-download button because I had previously installed this app, and for the cafe demo, I uninstalled it. Now I'm going to go ahead and reinstall it by double tapping.
Loading. Open, button.
All right, I've got the open button. And if I double tap on this, it's going to read some legal agreement, and below that we'll have a checkbox to agree to the legal agreement. I'm going to double tap on open and do a touch and explore on the bottom to get to the checkbox.
I accept the terms of use, checkbox. Unchecked.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and double tap to accept the agreement.
I accept the terms of use, checkbox. Checked.
Now I'm going to go ahead and flick right once.
Next, button.
And double tap on next.
Alert, NaviLens would allow NaviLens to use or location, places visible, 0.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and go through this, but this option and a few others, it's a really personal selection, so you may opt to it or accept to it.
We need to access your location map. Precise, allow once, button. Allow while using app, button.
I'm going to select this one, double tap.
Alert, NaviLens would like to send you notifications.
Once again, you can opt out or accept getting a notification. I'm going to go ahead and go flick right.
Notifications made, don't allow, button.
I'm going to go ahead and allow by double tapping.
Alert, NaviLens would like to access the camera.
I'm going to go ahead and flick right to OK to this.
The app needs, don't allow, but OK, button.
Obviously, we need to accept this because NaviLens needs the camera to find the marker, so double tap on OK.
Navi point and a tag with the camera to read it.
And that is all you need to do to install the NaviLens app. Now that we've installed the app, we're going to take a look at the settings. We're going to take a look at the settings in the iPhone for NaviLens, as well as the settings for NaviLens in the app itself. The settings on the iPhone for NaviLens is very basic. When we installed it, we went through some options that we accepted. The only other option that's available there is if you want to use cellular data with NaviLens. It's a toggle for on and off, and I've set mine to on. The second settings we're going to look at is the settings inside the NaviLens app. Now we're going to take a look at the settings inside the NaviLens app. I already have my app open, so I'm just going to go ahead and flick right once.
Main menu and download tags for personal use, button.
I'm going to double tap just like this.
Back, button.
I'm going to go ahead and flick right until I hear settings.
Main menu, heading, settings, application options, button.
I'm going to double tap on settings.
Back button.
I'm going to go ahead and flick right till I hear sounds.
Settings, heading, location mode, sounds, haptic button.
All right, this is what I want. I'm going to double tap to select it.
Back button.
And in here, we're going to make sure some of these configurations are set to the on position. I'm going to go ahead and flick right till I hear sounds.
Location mode, method by which the app will guide sounds, switch button, on. Double tap to toggle setting.
Okay, my sound is on. That's good. I'm going to go ahead and flick right once.
Voice instructions, switch button, off. Double tap to toggle setting.
All right, my voice instruction is turned off. I definitely want to turn this on. This is what enables for us to hear the left, right, up, and down when the camera identifies a marker. So I'm going to double tap to select this.
On.
Okay, that's good. And I'm going to flick right one more time.
Haptic, vibrate when finding a new code, switch button, on. Double tap to toggle setting.
All right, that one is on. So I'm going to do a 4-finger single tap to go back.
Back button.
Double tap.
Back button.
I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Settings, heading, location mode, sounds, voice reading options, reading distance button.
All right, we want to select this one, so double tap.
Back button.
And I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Reading options, heading, read content, heading, read upon detecting, switch button, on. Double tap to toggle setting.
I would recommend to make sure this is turned on. If you have this turned off, you'll only be hearing audible alerts, and you'd have to flick left and right to hear the verbal information. So I would just recommend leave that on. I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Stop locution with new tags, switch button, on.
And I'm going
Double tap to toggle setting.
I'm going to continue to flick right.
I prefer short texts. Reduce messages from the additional information heading.
Additional information heading. We want to take a look at this section. So I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Save the distance, switch button, on. Double tap to toggle setting.
That one's fine.
Save the angle, switch button, off. Double tap to toggle setting.
Save the angle. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. This actually gives us some additional information, especially if the angle of the marker, it'll tell us this. So I'm going to go ahead and double tap to select this.
On.
And that pretty much is in this section. I'm going to do a 4-finger single tap, and we're going to look at one more area.
Back button.
Double tap.
Reading options, reading distance, angle button.
I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
360 vision beta button.
Flick right.
Energy mode automatic button.
Flick right.
Flash mode automatic button.
Flick right.
Measuring system automatic button.
I'm going to take a look at this one. Double tap.
Back button.
And I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Measuring system heading. Choose a measuring system heading. Metric meters centimeters button.
All right. And if you wanted the metric, you could select this. Flick right.
Imperial feet inches button.
If you want the imperial, you can select this, or if you flick right.
Selected automatic regional default system button.
And I'm going to double tap to make sure that is selected as automatic.
Selected automatic regional default system.
And that is all the settings that I found that you need to have configured inside the NaviLens app. Okay, great. So now I've given you a little overview about the NaviLens app, how to install it, and the settings that you need to configure on your device. Now we're going to take a look at how to print these labels, and it's going to be covered on section 2. So this is about printing the labels. Let's take a look to see how we can print these tags from NaviLens. We're going to go to the app. I'm going to do a 4-finger single tap on top of the screen.
Point at a tag with the camera to read it.
And I'm going to flick right once.
Main menu button, a black screen with nothing else on it.
Double tap on the main menu.
Back button.
And I'm going to go ahead and flick right till I hear where it says request a tag.
Main menu heading, settings, application options button, request tags for personal use button.
Double tap on that.
Safari, do you want to use Navi Lens heading level 3?
This opens up a web browser where we're going to enter our name and email address and submit, and then they will send us an email with a zip file that has all these tags. So I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
We have spent 5 years developing this technology, and we are looking forward to it being used on a daily basis. Navi Lens interacts with tags that have associated information. These tags act as a poster for the application, but in this case we wanted to go a step further in providing you with a way to use it in a personal manner and completely free of charge. Yes, as you read it, absolutely free. Order your tags, heading level 3.
All right, I'm going to click right.
If you add your name and email address, we will send you personal use tags so that you can add the information you want, and then try and tag everything at your fingertips with Navi Lens. We warn you that you will be hooked after the first test. Name, Sree B, text field, required. Tell us your name, double tap to edit, use the rotor to access misspelled words.
All right, this is a required field. This is where I put in my name, click right.
Email, sreebroy@hotmail.com, text field, required. Tell us your email, double tap to edit, use the rotor to access misspelled words.
This is also a required field, so I put in my email address and I flick right once.
I want to receive the tags button.
All right, go ahead and double tap on the request.
Do you want to use Navi Lens, heading level 3?
All right, and you will get a confirmation saying that the order.
Soon you will receive an email with the tags you have requested as well as information on how to interact with them.
All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and go back to my email and find the email from them and look for that zip file. You find the email from NaviLens.
Unread, info@navilens.com, Navi Lens, tags for person.
Okay, that's the email. I'm going to go ahead and double tap to open it.
Null image. Actions available. More content available.
I'm going to go ahead and swipe all the way down to the bottom and find that zip file.
Thank you for page 2 of 8, page 3, page 4, page 5 of page 6 of 8, page 7 of 8, page 8 of 8, a group of multicolored flags.
I'm going to go ahead and do a touch and explore and find that zip file from the bottom.
Tool KIT1 original kit 104 codes. Zip 244 kilobytes. Attachment.
Okay.
Actions available.
That is the zip file. I'm going to go ahead and double tap to select it.
Done button.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and flick right till I hear the preview of this zip file.
KIT1 original share button. KIT1 original kit 104 codes. 244 kilobytes. 6 files.
All right, it tells me that there's 6 files on the zip, so I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Preview content button.
All right, double tap on the preview content. It's going to open the first content.
Dimmed.
All right, so it's opened one of the 6 files, but I'm going to go ahead and show you where the 6 files are. So I'm going to do a 4-finger single tap on the bottom of the screen.
Toolbar, list items button.
All right, I'm in the list item buttons. I'm going to go ahead and do a 1-finger double tap to get the list of all these attachments.
For Navi Lens _set_16_ medium tags _35 millimeter for personal use heading.
I'm going to flick right.
Close button. For Navi Lens _set_16_ medium tags _35 millimeter for personal use PDF document 46 kilobytes.
All right, it opened one of the 6 PDFs. I'm going to go ahead and double tap to select this one.
KIT1 original kit 104 codes. Zip back button.
And I'm going to go ahead and do a 4-finger single tap so we can print this.
Toolbar, list items button.
I'm going to go ahead and flick left to get to share.
Share button.
Double tap on share.
Share.
And I'm going to do
For
it.
Navi Lens _set_16_ medium tags _35 millimeter for personal use PDF document heading.
I'm going to do a touch and explore on the bottom to get to the print option.
Copy button. Print button.
I'm going to double tap on print. Do a 4-finger.
Cancel button.
I'm just going to do a swipe right until I hear print.
Printer options. Print button.
And double tap on print. Okay, and that is basically what you need to do to go ahead and print the labels. You can use the same process to print the remaining labels. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is after you print this, I'm going to talk about the size of these labels as well as how to cut these labels that you print out. Remember, these are just printing out on a regular paper in your color printer, so that you don't need any special paper. You just need to just have a color printer to make this thing work. So now let's take a look at the sizes of the labels as well as how to cut these labels. as I mentioned before, I was going to talk about in detail of the tags that we printed out. These tags, as I mentioned, come in large, medium, and small. And the tags range from 1 tag in 1 page all the way to 64 tags in a page. So on a tag that has 1 page, the sizes are 8.3 inches or 8 inches. Now, if you have 4 tags in a page, you have 3.75 inch or 2.95 inch per tag. Now, if you have 16 tags in a page, they're 1.85 inches or 1.38 inches. Now, if you have a 64 count in a sheet, then the sizes are 0.9 inches or 0.79 inches. And those are the sizes of the tags you'll find. And it may vary based on the prints that you get. Now that we looked at the sizes, let's see how to fold and cut these tags. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sheet that has 4 tags in it. Okay, now I'm ready to cut this sheet, and the sheet that I'm going to be using is a sheet that has 4 tags in it. But the technique that I'm going to be using can be used for any sheets that has more than 1 tag. So you can use the same technique for tags that even has 64 in the sheet. The things before I start, we need to make sure we're in an area where our table is clean. You either have a scissors, a knife, or a blade. And a disclaimer, iBUG today is not responsible if you accidentally stab or cut yourself, but hopefully that won't happen. So, like I said, the technique is going to be basically the same. And I'm going to use a knife to make my cuts because I feel I'll get a cleaner cut, but definitely be careful. And if you feel uncomfortable, it is perfectly fine for you to get a sighted person to help you cut this. The way NaviLens have built these sheets, they do give some leeway. So if you don't cut perfectly, that's perfectly fine. They give us some leeway in that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sheet and I'm going to fold it horizontally in half. And I'm going to try and get those corners connected perfectly so I can get a good cut. And then once I have folded it in half, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it vertically in half. And so now I've folded vertically in half so that now I only have 1 tag that's facing me. And then what I'm going to do is take my knife and cut the sheet so that I have 4 individual tags. And you can do the same thing when you have a sheet that has 64 tags. You fold it in half horizontally, then fold it in half vertically, and you cut it all up so that you have 4 separate pieces with 16 tags on each. And you do the same thing by folding it horizontally, then folding it vertically, then cut, and do the same process till you only have 1 sheet facing and make your final cut. So I'm going to go ahead and make my cut, and definitely, like I said, be careful. And once you're done, you should have 4 separate tags, and that is what you'll need to do to cut these tags. Okay, so now I've kind of explained to you guys how to cut these labels, and now we're ready to label these tags, and I'm going to explain how do we label these NaviLens tags. Now that I have cut these labels out, let's take a look at the process on what it takes to label this particular blank tag. I'm going to go ahead and bring the NaviLens app and make sure that we hear that click click to let us know that it has identified a tag.
14 inches away, straight, blank tag. Use the personal note option to complete it.
Okay, it told us that it found a blank tag, and we're going to go ahead and label it. And the way we label it is we're either going to flick up or flick down until we hear annotation.
Annotation.
And I'm going to go ahead and double tap on annotation.
Back button.
All right, I'm in the top left. I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Delete button. OK button. Personal annotation.
Personal annotation. I'm going to flick right one more time.
Personal annotation. Text field. Double tap to edit. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate. Use the rotor to access misspelled words.
I'm going to go ahead and double tap to select it.
Personal annotation. Text field is editing. Insertion point at start. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate.
I'm going to do a 2-finger double tap and dictate and call it garage door medium. Garage door medium.
Delete inserted garage door medium.
I'm going to go ahead and flick left till I hear OK and double tap on it.
Personal and OK button.
Double tap.
Point at a tag with the camera to read it.
Now that I've labeled it, let's go see how NaviLens works when I go and find that particular tag. And remember, we want to hear that click.
12 inches away, 10 inches away, straight, garage door medium.
All right, it told us garage door medium. Now let's take a look to see what we need to do if we want to relabel this tag. All we need to do is go ahead and flick up till we hear annotation again.
Filter this tag. Filter and localize this tag. Annotation.
Double tap.
Back button.
I'm going to go ahead and flick right again.
Delete button. OK button. Personal annotation. Personal annotation. Garage door medium. Text field. Double tap to edit. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate. Use the rotor to access misspelled words.
I'm going to go ahead and double tap.
Personal annotation. Text field is editing. Garage door medium. Insertion point at end.
Okay.
Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate.
Insertion point is at the end. I'm going to go ahead and find the delete button in the keyboard by doing Touch and Explore.
M. Delete. Delete M.
And I'm going to double tap and delete.
Delete U. Delete cap G.
Basically to double tap and hold till it deleted the whole verbiage. And I'm going to go record using dictation, and I'm going to say garage door large. Garage door large.
Inserted garage door large.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and flick left until I hear OK and double tap on it.
F. D. Personal annotation. OK button.
Double tap.
Point at a tag with the camera to read it.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and find that tag again, and I'm going to go ahead and see what NaviLens tells us.
12 inches away, 12 inches away, straight, garage door large.
As you can see, it said garage door large, so that is how we rename a NaviLens tag. Now that we looked at how we name it and rename it, let's see what we need to delete this particular tag. Once again, I'm just going to go ahead and flick down until I hear annotation.
Annotation.
And I'm going to go ahead and double tap.
Back button.
And I'm going to go ahead and flick right once.
Delete button.
And I'm going to go ahead and double tap on delete.
Blank tag. Use the personal note option to complete it.
All right, so now if I go back
down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate.
Now if I go back to that same tag, this is what I hear.
10 inches away, straight, blank tag. Use the personal note option to complete it.
Okay, it told me that it was a blank tag, so I could relabel it again. And that is how we delete a tag. Okay, in this next section, we're really going to see how these tags can be used. And I'm going to give you some examples of the things that I've tagged, and we'll see how NaviLens finds these tags. In today's cafe presentation, I went over as to what is NaviLens, how to print these markers, and how to label these markers. Now let's go and see how this all comes into play. Let's take a look at some of the things that I labeled. Obviously, there's plenty of things that I could have done, but I only picked a few, and hopefully the ones that I've labeled will make some sense, and you will have a better understanding how well this product actually works. Now let's take a look at the first item. It's a garment bag, and let's see what NaviLens tells us.
16 inches away, straight, Armani gray suit.
Okay, it told us that it was a gray suit. Now let's take a look at the second item.
6 inches away, highly sloped to the right, hand sanitizer spray.
That was a hand sanitizer spray. It was actually a round bottle, and I had the tags wrapped around the bottle, and NaviLens did a good job of reading that tag. Let's take a look at what the next item is.
6 inches away, straight, D3 vitamin bone health pills take daily. Very close.
Okay, this was a pill bottle, and it told us what the medication was. I did put the tag on top of the lid, and it clearly told us what the item is. Let's take a look at the next item.
6 inches away, straight, annotation of Miles Wilson, today, yoga DVD.
That was a DVD cover that I borrowed from Miles. This is an example of a tag that was actually set up remotely, and yet I'm able to read it because Miles is part of the family and friends. Let's take a look at the next item.
7 inches away, straight, clear nail polish.
Let's take a look at the next item.
6 inches away, straight, purple nail polish.
Now let's take a look what happens when we have two tags next to each other. I'm going to take the clear nail polish and the purple nail polish and put it together. And let's see what happens with NaviLens.
Portrait, 16 inches away, straight, clear nail polish. Seeing 2 tap, 19 inches away, straight, clear nail polish. 15 inches, very close, seeing 2 tags. 19 inches away, 18 inches away, straight, clear nail polish, very close.
Okay, it told us that it saw two tags next to each other. And one of the things that we can do when there's multiple tags is that we can use filtering. And the way that works is that in the app right now on the screen, these both items are identified. And I'm just going to flick right, and we're going to filter the purple nail polish. And when I filter it, what will happen is the next time I try to scan these two items, I should only hear the purple nail polish and not the clear, because it's only searching for that keyword purple. I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Purple nail polish.
There it is.
Actions available.
It says action is available. I'm going to go ahead and flick up or flick down.
Filter this tag.
Okay, filter this tag. If I double tap on this,
Performed action, filtering purple nail polish.
it said it's going to be filtering
Point the tag with the
polish.
camera to read it.
All right, it says point the camera to read it, so I'm just going to go ahead and point the camera again.
19 inches away, straight, purple nail polish.
Okay, it just did the purple, and it's not reading the white nail polish. It's only, I'm tilting, panning, and it's not reading the white nail polish. And that is how filtering works. And if you want to remove the filtering, just do a 4-finger single tap in the bottom of the screen.
360 vision beta button, a pink circle with a white logo on it.
And I'm just going to flick left till it says to unfilter.
Zoom disabled, stop filtering tags button, and illustration of a cone-shaped object with a light shining on it.
Okay, stop filtering, double tap.
Displaying all tags, very close, very close.
And then it said displaying all tags. And that is how filtering works. The next example that I want to present is placing markers around a room. For example, maybe a hotel room. I placed some tags around some key areas that will help me navigate around this room. So here we go. Now let's take a look to see what NaviLens identifies some key things that are around this room.
3.39 feet away, straight, front door. 20 inches, very close. 4.92 feet away, sloped to the right, bathroom door.
Found the bathroom
Left,
door.
5 feet.
Panning around.
7.37 feet away, sloped to the right, bed.
It found the
Right,
bed.
right,
Pan around.
right. 21 inches away, sloped to the left, closet door. 20 inches.
In today's cafe presentation, I went over as to what is Navi Lens.
Sree, that was into 5.5.
Sorry about that. Mike, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
My apologies. There's a little bit to that end of that video, and I'm not sure why it's missed, but my last example that I tested was a can that I took from the pantry. And I did a little bit of a test to compare the response time between using a barcode on the scan versus NaviLens. And I actually tested with the Amazon device too. So I took a barcode as well as the show on my Amazon, and then I compared to see how fast the tag would identify the item. And obviously, the tag identified the item right away, whereas the barcode, it took me a while for it to find the barcode, and it identified it. And a few times, it got the wrong item, and I didn't even present with the Amazon because it accuracy was about 10%. You know, I tried it about 5 times, and it got it correct one, and the rest of the time, it identified the product completely different. So I apologize that we couldn't hear that example, but I just wanted to show that these tags can be much more responsive, as well as it's always accurate because it is what you gave the names. So it's another useful way of identifying things. And the final thing I wanted to show is the, and I mentioned a little bit about family, how family and friends work, as well as NaviLens has a beta 360, and I'm going to show you a little bit of example of that. And what really impressed me was that this feature doesn't require any special phones. This works with either, you know, the older phones or the newer phones. So, you know, it doesn't really require for you to have the LiDAR like the newer phones. It's just all it needs is the camera and these tags. So let's take a look at the friends and family and the 360 with NaviLens. Now let's take a look at how to set up NaviLens Friends and Family. The first thing you need to do is go to the Friends and Family and double tap to select it, and it's going to ask you to set up with your Apple ID or your Google ID or your personal email address. And once you set that up, now I'm going to show how to set up Friends and Family with NaviLens. Okay, to do this, I'm borrowing Miles's phone, and we're going to go through the settings. So I've got the NaviLens app open, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the bottom left tab.
Main menu and download tags for personal use.
Double tap.
Button. Back. Button.
I'm going to go ahead and click right.
Main menu. Settings. Request tags. NaviLens Friends and Family. Share and back up your tags. Button.
I'm going to double tap.
Back. Button.
I'm going to go ahead and click right.
NaviLens Friends and Family. Settings. Button. To share my annotations. Button.
I'm going to go ahead and double tap here.
Back. Button.
And basically, I have a code that is showing up on the screen, and I will need to use my phone and scan this code, and then we'll be sharing. I have my phone, and all I need to do is just make sure that I have the NaviLens app open, and I'm just going to point to Miles's phone, and we should be set up.
15 inches away, straight, congratulations. You are already following Miles Olson. Scan the labels you have written down to see your information.
And that is basically how you set up Friends and Family with NaviLens. Now that Miles and I are in the Friends and Family set up in NaviLens, now if I go to Miles's house and he has configured a tag, all I need to do is just use NaviLens app, and I'll be able to read the tag that he created. So let's see how it works. So I'm going to point.
14.71 feet away, straight. Annotation of Miles Olson. Today, Miles guest bathroom.
And as you can tell, I was able to read the tag that Miles had created because we are with NaviLens friends and family, and that's how that works. Now we're going to take a look at NaviLens 360, which is currently in beta. I'm going to do a 4-finger single tap on the app.
360 vision beta button. A black screen with nothing else on it.
I'm going to double tap to select it.
Back. Activating 360 vision.
And what I'm going to do is let NaviLens identify a tag.
3 feet away. Sree's office.
Now it's found that tag. I'm going to pan around more.
3 feet. 1 foot to your left nearby. 1 foot to your left. 4 feet.
Moving around.
2 feet behind.
Somebody's 2 feet behind.
2 feet to your right.
2 feet to the right.
4 feet. 1 foot ahead.
And 1 foot ahead.
1 foot to your left nearby.
And that is how NaviLens 360 works. Okay, and that's basically what and how to use NaviLens. And hopefully you found something out of both of these presentations. I hope you found an app that you can apply it to help you find things a lot easier. So with that said, we're going to open it up to questions. And our policy is that we kindly ask everyone stay muted. And if you do have a question, go ahead and unmute and then state your name. Either myself or Sandhya will call your name. And when we call your name, you can ask your question. And when somebody is asking a question or we're presenting an answer, I kindly ask that everyone stay muted till we're completely done. And then you go ahead and ask your question. And one final thing is we don't use the raise hand feature, so you don't need to raise your hand. Just state your name and we'll call your name and then feel free to ask your questions. So Sandhya, would you kindly go ahead and just unmute everyone?
All set.
All right, so
yes.
Yeah, ask away.
This is Sailor.
All right, Sailor, what's your question? And let us know, Sailor, hold on one second. Just when you ask your question, just kind of tell the app that you're questioning so that we kind of know whether Liz needs to answer it or myself.
I have a question about both apps, but honestly, like first, I think I like Way Around better because it's like the tags are pre-cut, they're already done. But my question specifically is the Way Around app. I have a sample of all the tags right now. Which one can I use for the freezer?
The freezer? They recommend the oval hole button because you can put like the rubber band through the little hole and then wrap that around like the frozen box or the frozen bag. That one, since it's a laundry tag, it can withstand water and temperature. You could try one of the circle stickers and like on a Ziploc bag or container if you wanted to see how that would work. I have not tried it with one of the stickers. I've used other labeling stickers okay on like Ziploc bags in the freezer, but they recommend the oval hole button.
What about the magnets for the freezer?
No. I'm sorry. What's your question on that?
The magnets. Can I do the magnet tags for freezers as well?
I am not certain. You might email them and ask, or if you have a magnet that is extra, pop it into a bag and see what happens. I'm not certain what the temperature that it can withstand would be.
Okay.
This is Jake. I have a question.
Go ahead.
It's about the NaviLens app, and so these tags, are they special where you have to order them, or do you just go online and print them out with regular paper?
You just basically you submit that request and they'll email it to you, and you just print it out in a regular paper.
And then, so like on food and not like regular supplies, how do you fasten them on? Just rubber bands?
So basically, I just used a clear Scotch tape, and I just taped the tag to the items. You could tape over the paper. And one thing I will tell you, these tags, the large tag, it detected it 60 feet away. And if I enable the zoom, I was able to see these tags 90 feet away. And the medium tags, I was able to see it about 25 feet away. And the very tiny tags, and believe it or not, if you had a sighted person and they cut out all the extra spaces that NaviLens gives us, it's a pretty small tag. And that one, it worked about 15 feet away.
So like whenever, like let's say you get something new, do you have to make a new tag or do you just use the same one?
That's up to you. Like I basically, like for example, that 64 tags that came in one sheet, I just cut all of them up and just started tagging the ones that I needed. If I felt like I don't need it, I could rename it or I could delete it and then reuse it.
Okay, so do you have to pay?
It's absolutely free.
Oh, okay. So what did you use for a barcode scanner?
I used Seeing AI's barcode scanner to test it.
Oh, okay.
It did find the item. It was just more of the speed as well as the accuracy is what NaviLens, because it's already the tag is already named, so it just finds it right away.
So do you need, when you do these things, do you need like sighted assistants to know what they are so you label it, or?
Well, some of these I did use a sighted person, and some of these I used a barcode to tell me what the item is. Like the can, I just used the barcode first to find it, and then I tagged it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, good questions. Anyone else?
This is Brad.
Hey, Brad.
Hey, great presentation, both Sree and Liz. Good information. My question is for you, Sree, and the Nobulence. You mentioned that when you get to print out the tags, you need to be using a color printer. Is that mandatory? Because like I have just a Brother black and white laser printer.
Yeah, and the way NaviLens this thing works is these tags are based on color, and that's how they've used it, so they can identify these things not only far distance away, but in a 160-degree angle view. And unfortunately, it needs to be in color because that's how the tags are identified.
All right, good to know. Thank you.
Good question. Any other questions?
This is Sandhya.
Hey, Sandhya.
Okay, so yeah, really, I'm just so excited. I'm like, we're gonna go and print everything and buy some air tags and way around tag. I don't know. So here's my kind of a question for both of you. So I'm about to start on my cooking adventure, and I want to get a spice rack and label all of the little bottles and all that. So. I know each of you are going to say, well, my app, but so like, honestly, what would you recommend? Like if you have like 20 little bottles all together. So first question is like, if I take the bottle out of the spice rack and then or just like hold the phone in front of it and then it'll say, okay, cinnamon or something. And so then you did the Sree, you did the example of, it sees two things, or if it sees 5 labels, it'll just go crazy, I guess. I guess I'm not articulating my question, but I don't know which one do you think would be more efficient?
So I'll give you my view, and then Liz can give the view of her app. So, in my example, I used a nail polish, and the reason I used a nail polish, it's a relatively small, it's a small item,
Mm-hmm.
and I labeled it. The nail polish it's a curved bottle, and I was able to label it, with the Scotch. I just taped it with Scotch tape, just to make it stick, and I compared it with a couple other nail polishes, and so let's say, for example, in your thing is you're looking for cinnamon. And obviously, if there's a few bottles and you just want to focus on cinnamon, it'll kind of narrow it down to where cinnamon is in relation to the others, because these bottles are pretty close to each other, right? They're
Right.
relatively close. So what I would do is once it's identified the cinnamon, if you just take it out and then shake your phone and point to the camera, it'll tell you whether you got cinnamon or not. That's what I kind of did with the nail polish. You know, I had to hold one and the other to let me know, okay, this is purple or this was clear. That's the way I would do it with the NaviLens app. Maybe Liz might have a better or another option with the way around.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, a couple of things to think about is price and convenience. So, you know, if you wanted to do it with way tags, I guess it'd be, you know, you'd want like one of the 25 packs. So that's about $25 there for, you know, 20 to 25 labels, versus you could take the time to email, download, print, cut it apart. So, but then that's free. So that's something to think about. If I did it with the way tags, I would possibly put the sticker onto like the lid of the spice bottle, so that once I run out of the cinnamon, I could throw away the bottle, buy a new one, just take off that lid and put that lid with the tag on it on top of it. So that would save you, you know, from having to like throw out a tag that you paid for. And I have, when I've used the way tags, I've like pulled the item out and tapped the phone on it. So you would, you know, need to kind of like find the bottle and then put the phone to that. You wouldn't be able to do like what the Navi tags did, where you can just sort of hold the phone over it and it's viewing it through the camera and could maybe give you a filter of where cinnamon specifically is. But yeah, both are really cool. And I think that's kind of the thing to think of is, you know, do you want something that's already kind of prepared, or do you want to go through and printing it and then it's something free that you can use?
This is Sandhya. One more question for
Yeah, go ahead.
Liz, I guess. Well, okay, so your tags, and I know you explained this. So are those stickers are like, you know, adhesive on them, or is that right? Or
They are, yeah. They've got two kinds of stickers. So they've got round stickers and then they've got square stickers. And both of those are already like adhesive back. So you just peel them off the sticker sheet and stick them on whatever you want. The round ones go on anything. And then the square ones are for metal items. So apparently metal messes with the near field communication. So what WayTag has done is they've made their square stickers, they have like a little layer of metal or something that, you know, makes it where they can actually work. But they are adhesive back, and just like a typical sticker, you can feel of them once you've placed it on the item, and they can go around a curve, like the curve of the bottle or the lid, and they'd still be able to work.
okay, this is Sandhya. One fall.
Yep.
So can you cannot, so I guess the point is you cannot remove that again. It won't come off, right? It's
no
done.
I mean, you could try it and see, like it's kind of like just a sticker, but if you wanted one that you could remove, like what I might do, like I said, with the spices or medications, like I would put it on the lid.
Okay.
Or you could put it onto like a piece of paper or something and then stick a hole through that and put a rubber band on it, and then, you know, rubber band the item, like the spices in this case. And I do that with I have my spices are currently Braille labeled, and that's how I did it. I just used like Dymo tape and cut a hole in it with a hole punch, then put a rubber band in it, so I don't have to stick it to the bottle and throw it away, and I can just peel it off and reuse it. And you could do the same thing with the way tags.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, both of you. Thanks.
I have a question.
I'm sorry, who's this?
This is Tara.
Okay, hold on one second, Tara. Liz, did you want to make a comment?
No, I think,
I think I'm
that was Anissa. I was trying to jump in too. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, hold on.
Yeah.
All right, Tara, your question?
Okay, I have actually two questions for the novelist. Say I have several cans of, say, soup, all the same kind of soup. I have grouped all the cans in groups, and I place them in my pantry according to the different types of canned foods I have. So if I don't want to label each one of the cans, but can I put like a marker on, like say I have 6 cans of tuna, so I'll just can I just write tuna and then put a sticker somewhere near the can area, or is it better for me to put a sticker on each cans? Will it identify like an area where I have just cans of tuna?
Well, see, the thing is, you can tag it however you want to tag it.
Mhm.
So you can give it any name. You could say, this is my 6 tuna cans. And after you take one, you could rename it and say, there's 6 or 5 tuna cans. You can rename the tag as any way you see would be appropriate. I would say, the way I was thinking when I was doing this exercise is, if I had like my office papers, I was just going to put a tag close to it saying this is where my office papers are located, just so that I can easily kind of find it. But like for my garment bags, I tagged individually just so that I could see, what kind of attire is inside the garment bag. So.
Yeah, so that's what's my next question, which you answered. Because like if I have 10 cans, then I can put 10 cans of tuna, and then when I take one out, then I kind of have an idea how many is left. So I could do that with the Nobulence. And my next question, I have got. The next question was, could I put, like say for medicine, can I put the strength of the medicine? Can all that go in a label, or does it have to be short and sweet?
You could record as much information as you want, because you're just basically recording a file that it's reading.
Okay.
And there's no thing to say, okay, you can only, now you can set it with NaviLens for it to read it shortly, a short label instead of reading the whole thing. You can set it, it's one of the settings that's available there.
Okay, like I could say, okay, electrolytes, use it with 10 ounces of water. Like I can leave little information like that too.
That's right. Yeah, you could do that.
Oh, good. Okay. That was that question. Well, thank you, Sree. That helps.
You're welcome.
Hi, Anissa.
Okay, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, thank you. So both presentations are great, and I can see use for both of them. But my question right now is for Sree with the Navi Lens. Now, I noticed that mostly everything you labeled, it seemed like it was indoors. So there's a limitation, I guess, with like water resistance or weather, like certain type of weather, maybe humidity. I'm in Philly, so right now our weather is really humid here, but water or humidity, there's certain type of paper you have to use to print out those labels, or is it just, in certain settings, like you're saying with your office paper stuff, just dry things that those labels are good for?
That's a really good question, because I was actually thinking about while I was listening to this today is, these are just labels that are getting printed, and it's just using a regular piece of paper. Now, I did use a Scotch tape to completely cover my label just to see if it read through something that's covering it, and it read it perfectly fine. I was trying to look for my laminator because I wanted to laminate it and get it wet and then read it. I have a feeling it's going to work because this company is really based on commercial use. If you do take a look at it, NaviLens is used in the Los Angeles Union Station Metro. They use NaviLens to navigate you around, as well as in Manhattan, J Street. And some universities are using these to get students around. Obviously, I'm just using a regular standard paper, but I'm sure if I, sealed it pretty well, I could probably put this outside my mailbox, and as I get around my neighborhood, at least within 60 feet, it's going to tell me I'm close to it.
Okay, great. And then I have a second question for you. Yeah. So maybe I misunderstood the presentation. So when you did the friends and family 360, did you just open up something on your phone, or you actually physically were in the other person's house to read it with your phone, what they had set up?
So basically how that friends and family works is, now obviously in this exercise, Miles was here with me, but all the stuff was done on his mobile phone.
Oh, okay.
So basically the way it would work is, you assign, you can only assign up to 5 individuals. So you have to pick your individuals. And that's unfortunate, but with 5 friends and families. So like, for example, if I was going to come to Sandhya's house, if I get invited, that's a question. But if I do get invited.
Seems doubtful.
But if I get invited to her house, she could label some of these key rooms And then when I get to her house, my app will automatically read it
Okay.
on my phone. So,
Great.
so that that one really got to me because when I went on vacation, I could have really used this to like kind of like label the the front door, the bathroom, the closet, and
Yeah,
all that.
absolutely. Yeah.
And plus it gives you navigational information, which we were using our 12 Pro with the LiDAR to give us this precise location, and this thing doesn't even use the LiDAR. It's just using the camera and the app and the smart marker to tell me it's 5 feet away. And I don't know if you guys heard it say angle.
Yeah.
That's actually telling me that label is lower, right angle, left angle. It's telling me where to kind of find it. It's not just saying straight, it's saying angle to the right. So it's pretty amazing that it goes in that depth.
Awesome. Thank you. Those are my questions. And thank you again. You both were really great. I could benefit from both of those.
Good question.
This is Terry.
Yeah, Terry, go ahead.
Couple things. Number one, first, I just wanted to let you guys know Carla was listening in with me on from one phone to another. So she was here in spirit anyway. She was doing some other things and listening in today from the UK. Number two, another way, if you fold your papers in, according to, for the Navi Lens labels, you fold the pages in quarters and then however else you need to do it. What I might even do, instead of trying to cut them with scissors or a knife or something, because I have a Perkins Braille writer, I would put the papers in my Braille writer, and then at the folds, I would put a whole line of dashes, and then I could have perforated lines and just tear them apart that way. And I've done that with other paper things, and it works really well to do that. And then, yes, you can use them outdoors. I've listened to, I forget now. It's the thing that Pete Lane and Jeff.
At the Possibilities.
Yes, they've done.
CEO?
Yes, they've done a demo of it, and the fellow did say you can use them outdoors because they do that for commercial use. So it's only according to what the label, the paper or the sheet is that you print the labels on. If they're plastic, then they're going to be okay for outdoors because they won't get ruined by the water if it rains, for example, or it's really humid. And then my question was, when you were first setting up the demo of it, you were, I think, opening up Navi Lens. It kept saying page 1, page 2, and I think it went through page 8, and then you opened up page 8. What were those previous pages 1 through 7?
Yeah, they're just basically the NaviLens, their legal, just general information about the thing. That's because I didn't want to waste our time listening to all the stuff.
Sure.
Because the attachment was way down in the bottom.
I kind of thought that, but I wanted to make sure that that's what that was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
This is Linda. Can I ask a question?
Yes, Linda. What's your question?
I wanted to know about the Nobula download app. Now, I went to the App Store, and it seemed to have different, I don't know if there were variations of the app or exactly how to phrase that. So how do you differentiate and download? And then I have a second question, which is not related to the, excuse my clock, not related to the labeling, but I'm interested in that keyboard and how that works and where you get one.
Okay, well, I'll answer the first part.
And I'll mute myself again.
Okay. Actually, I lost my train of thought of you were asking about the install.
The download of.
So basically.
In the App Store.
In the App Store, right. So what I did is I asked Siri to find it, and I just said Navi Lens, and it found it. Typically, when you ask Siri to find an app on the App Store, sometimes you'll get the advertisement app first, and if you flick right, the next app typically is the correct app. But if you typed NaviLens, it will also find it. And if you listen to the podcast, you could hear exactly what the whole verbiage of that app is when you go to the App Store. If you're not sure, did I select the right one? It'll if you listen to it, it'll tell you exactly the full name of the app. Besides the name of the app, it'll also tell you some little bit of a tidbit about the description of the app. But
Okay,
I had no problem finding it when I asked Siri to find it through the Navi Lens.
Okay, well now I did that, and what I downloaded does not seem to be what you're talking about. So I'm wondering if I got the advertisement.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you ask, because typically by default they do give you that advertisement app first. So you want to make sure when you flick right, you hear the word Navi Lens.
Excuse me.
Okay. Did that answer your question?
Yes, but now, excuse me, I'm sorry about this.
All right, guys, I did mute everybody, so Sree, you need to come back in.
I can answer a little bit about the keyboard if you guys would like, because I know that was a question. So you can use any kind of Bluetooth keyboard that you'll want to look for something that's Bluetooth compatible, and then you can pair it with your iPhone or, your other smartphones and devices. I really like having one to type on. It makes it so much faster than trying to type on the on-screen keyboard or only dictating. Because dictation is funny sometimes and we'll get words completely wrong if you're not careful. The one I have is a Logitech that's mapped specifically for Mac and Apple products. I want to say the model number is MK80, but I could be lying to you. It was on Amazon for about $40 and it's multi-point, which means I can pair it to more than one device and just switch it between the three that I have. So I've got it paired to my iPhone, my iPad, and my MacBook, and real nifty, especially for when you're doing things like making a bunch of labels, or of course just doing things like emailing and texting people. So they're definitely a good investment. You don't have to get a Logitech keyboard, but that is a pretty solid brand that's affordable.
Thank you. I only have the iPhone. So does it attach to the iPhone, or you pair it?
You pair it with their right. It doesn't attach. There's no cords or anything. It's through Bluetooth. Okay. So once you get it paired to your phone, you can walk around with it. You can do what you need to do, and there's no cords.
This is Sree. I was going to say, if you want to get some better understanding of how that keyboard works, check out our iBUG call on the Zoom tomorrow, and you can definitely ask that question, and we can give you a really, an easy rundown if you have a question about, how it works.
Okay, thank you. Can I take you back, since my phone rudely interrupted us, to like I said, I've downloaded this app, and but it just does not seem like what you're describing.
Yeah,
so is that two separate things, or does it continue on after the advertisement? Because it was telling me all about navigating through New York. And
Yeah, definitely not the right app. I don't suspect. I mean, NaviLens does have some partnership in New York, so I don't know if you accidentally downloaded and installed the wrong app. But when you do find the app, you definitely make sure VoiceOver is going to tell you what app you installed. Make sure it says NaviLens, and if it's not, you definitely it's probably not the right app. But I would definitely, when you do ask or search in the App Store, definitely flick right. Make sure you hear it say NaviLens, and make sure that I believe the rating, it said 7 rating or something. I don't quite recall right now, but if you definitely listen to the podcast, which will be available probably in a day or so, you can listen to the whole the name. And if you do have further questions, if you have any questions about it, that you have problems installing it, definitely come tomorrow. I'll be on the call and I can definitely walk you through to make sure you get the right app installed.
This is Kathy.
Yes, Kathy.
My question is, I go to this kind of like a Y, and it's really complicated. I'm wondering about, one thing is the machines, the soda machines. It'd be nice to be able to label what everything is and the prices, but you'd want more than 5 people to be able to use their phone to read it. I don't know how many blind people are allowed to go there, but maybe say 15 or something, who knows. And the other thing is, I'm wondering, would people remove the labels if you put them out in public? What do they look like? Do they say something like "Don't remove me," or just colored swatches? Or if you hang one on your mailbox, is somebody going to come along and pluck it off?
This is true.
Go ahead.
So those are good questions, Kathy. Now, what I'm describing, or the NaviLens that I'm telling you guys, it's really a personal use. It's not a commercial.
Right.
So in the commercial side, they've done some really big things for the blind community. It's pretty remarkable. With they're trying to convert these verbal tags to these markers, because these markers are being picked up like 100 feet away.
Okay.
But from your perspective, this is just for in-home use. So I wouldn't really use this for like the soda machine example. But the friends and family, the real benefit for this is if I was going somewhere, because obviously, I can remove someone and add someone else as needed. It's just so that I could read someone else's tags that they've created. So I don't have to retag. Let's say, like my example, if I went to Sandhya's house and she put these tags in the front door or the guest bathroom, I can, once I'm there, I can have this app just direct me to the door.
See, that's why it'd be so cool. Maybe I'll just put some up in the center it's Center for the Physically Challenged. And if you can believe it or not, the lobby is like circular. So if for blind people, it's just unbelievably difficult you can believe the times I've walked out of one place and gone a few feet down and then come back in the same, so it'd be nice to have like a place that said fitness center or kitchen area or hallway, classrooms. Because when you're going around the circle, it's hard to tell where you are.
This is Liz. It sounds like there was a public one for the businesses to pay for, right? So I mean, maybe talk to them about researching that.
Yeah. That's the thing about like NaviLens. I think from a commercial side, they're really pushing organizations at the state level or the federal level to see if these tags can really assist. And I don't know exactly what the tag actually looks like. All I know is it doesn't look like a QR code from the way they're being described to me. It's just the designs are all over the place, but they're colored, and that's what's determining the tag to be unique.
And you can't tell.
I'm sorry. The advantage of the coloring this thing is because with colors you can create it so many different ways and amount, or a QR code. So
like a code, yeah.
I'm sorry, you had some other question?
Can you tell once you printed it out, you know, if you drop all the pieces, can you tell? You can't really tell by feel which way they go, can you?
Give me an example. Like, what do you mean? Like, they fell?
I mean, like, so you don't hang them also the white side is facing out and the colored side is, is
Yes.
you know, going the wrong way.
So if the tag is facing, let's say, towards the camera, you can be it upside down, left or right. There's no, it figures that out. Now, if
Okay.
you point the back of the sheet, you won't hear the click.
Okay.
It'll be like it's looking for something.
Okay. All right, well, sounds great. Thanks for both of you. It was great.
This is
Terry Walker.
Oh,
All
sorry.
right, I heard Keith, and then we'll go to Terry. Go ahead, Keith.
Liz and Sree, great demos. Thank you so much. I did go to the App Store, and there is a Navi Lens and a Navi Lens Go. The Navi Lens has 7 reviews, and the
Yeah.
other has 4. So that's how you can differentiate between the two. And then my other question was, Sree, so did you end up going with the purple or the clear?
Well, I use clear.
Okay, very good. No, very good. Y'all, these were wonderful. In fact, a no labeler is going to start labeling.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Any other questions? Oh, Terry, you had a question?
Well, I thank Keith for stealing some of my thunder, and it's actually labeled as a utility under utilities, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, so that's the other pointer when looking for that app.
This is Sandhya.
Yes, Sandhya.
So toward the end, you did that demo of the 360. I mean, it sounded like you were like dancing around. So what were you doing exactly? What was that? What was it doing?
So basically, the 360. And the thing is, what's really interesting is, you know, I tagged a bunch of stuff. So when you tag it, it keeps a log of everything it tagged. So when I was doing the 360, I was in the middle of my office, and you know, I've got a front door, a bathroom door, and a closet door. And what I did is I tagged the front door, and it as soon as it identified it, and I locked on that front door. Then I just kind of walked around, and it gave me the audible as well as the dance music, and it's its own dance music. I didn't create that.
I'm sure you didn't. I'm sure you didn't. Okay.
But all I did was just kind of walk around, and I was just waiting for that. Like, it's almost like a cowbell to tell me, okay, that's when it gets that cowbell ding. It told me, okay, it found the tag, and now it's like telling me which direction, and which is like, you know, we've done presentations using the LiDAR to give us this precise information of left, right. This was doing it without it, which was like, you know, really interesting to hear. And it was pretty, you know, it was accurate. It was not like, you know, it told me that the tag was behind me, and how it's doing all this, I'm not sure. That's why this beta of the 360, it's still in beta with them. But I think what they're trying to do is set this up in the metro station, where you're trying to find a tag, and you don't know if it's in front of you or behind you. It's going to tell you this kind of stuff, and that's where I think that this particular aspect of that app came into play. But I used it to, you know, I wish I took this thing when I went on vacation, because it would have been easy for me to find, you know, our doors, instead of me kind of like banging around a room that I've never, you know, a place that I've never been to. This would have really come in handy.
Michael?
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, same. Both of you guys did awesome job on your demos. First question for Liz, and then one for Sree. Now, Liz, you mentioned that the information gets stored in the Way Cloud. Is it also stored on your phone?
It is, yes. They have explained it that, like, if your phone or tablet is offline, for example, maybe you just don't have data at the moment, you can still create the tag, and then later when your phone or tablet is back on data or Wi-Fi, then it will be uploaded to the cloud as a backup as well. So it's both. It's on the device, and then it's also backed up to the cloud so that other devices that you have logged into your account can read it.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, I was just concerned about that. Then for Sree, well, maybe a couple of questions. What is it? It's using basically just straight line, right, to the tag. So if like I was thinking of a use case where I'd create a tag called my table, and I would just place that on, when I go to a restaurant, I'd place it on my table. And then if I go to the restroom or something, I'd find my way back. But it's only when I come out of the restroom, if it found it, it's just giving me a straight line. Of course, there's probably a bunch of tables in between, which I would have to try to navigate around and keep hearing it telling me, left, right, whatever, to finally get back to the table. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is correct, Michael. It is a line of straight navigation, so it's not going to tell us that there's some blockage in front of you. Yeah, that aspect is not there for it. I did want to mention one thing you mentioned, Michael, about the data services. So with NaviLens, you don't need to have Wi-Fi to read your tags. You don't need data service to read your tag. But your friends and family, like if I go to Sandhya's house and I want to read her tags, I need to have data services.
Right. Okay. And have they said anything about, using older phones with less or, not as good a camera? If the better camera you have, the, more accurate it might be, or the longer distance or any of that?
So I tried it both on a 10X, 10S, as well as my iPhone 8 Plus and they both work the same distance.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing, I was like, oh, am I going to get a better response because I have a better camera? I didn't really notice it. My 8 Plus picked up the large tag 90 feet away when I zoomed it.
And I noticed when you picked up, like, I think it said a gray suit, but I thought it said an Armani. Did I hear that right?
No comment.
That's what I heard too. This is Sandhya. I was wondering about that.
I think we're paying him way too much.
Does it go with the purple nail polish is the question, right?
I'll give you an example about that garment, because that was like one of my most difficult things, because I used a Brother P-Touch label maker and I put it on my garment bags, and it would take me a long time for Seeing AI to recognize it. And this, it's like, boom, it told me what it was right away. That's the thing about these tags. And I'm sure with Liz also, the same thing is the response time. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to show you the example of the barcode. That's what tells me that these things make a big difference. It saves time and it's 100% accurate because it is the tag that you created. It's not going to give you information.
I think both of you have really shown us some powerful tools today. Liz and Sree, thank you so very much. You spent a lot of time preparing, and we can tell. And we are so grateful for sharing. And we will, I'm sure all of us are going to go out and try to start using some of these cool apps and tags, and we're going to be able to find everything. And well, we're going to end with that.
Job, you guys.
Yay!
Thank you.
I do want to say, Liz, thank you very much. I appreciate also the time and effort today.
He's still with the Olympics here, the air horn. Sree and Liz. Okay, here's my song. Okay, hopefully this works. Let's see if it'll work for us.
Wait. Sree he was making a comment.
Oh, who's making a comment? Sree?
No, I was just saying, I just wanted to say thank you to Liz for helping do this presentation. I also want to thank Michael and Sandhya for helping me in the back, making sure, we have a successful presentation. And I also want to thank everyone who attended. I appreciate the questions. And if what Liz presented or what I presented helped you today, I think we can smile about it, because that's the end goal, is to make sure we find solutions for you guys.
Thank you. Are we ready now for my big theme song here? Let's see if it'll work. It's a really... Here we go. Where are you now? All right, where are you now? Where's the purple nail polish, Sree?
It's where it's supposed to be, not in my hand.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And good night to everybody. And we hope to see you this week and soon. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody.